So this is an introduction session on EC2. So let's begin. So EC2 is a elastic compute cloud. It's a compute service offered by AWS. It's basically an infrastructure as a service. It's widely used service and one of the popular AWS service. So you can launch EC2 instances on a different operating system like Linux, Windows, Mac OS, Ubuntu, others as well. It offers different instance types based on the instance family, CPU and RAM combination. So based on your requirement, you can pick any of them during the launch, or you can also have your own custom configuration that you can use to launch the EC2 instances. So I have given a link on your screen that you can refer for understanding the different instance types offered by EC2. Now let's understand the pricing options. So on-demand pricing, like you can pay as you go. So you launch the instance, use it, and based on your usage, you can pay for the instance. Saving plans, where you commit for a certain usage for 1 or 3 years term, and in return you get up around 72% discount reduction compared to the on-demand pricing. Reserved instance, where you reserve a particular instance in a particular region for 1 or 3 years, and in return you get up to 72% discount compared to on-demand pricing. Spot instance is something useful for running a, I would say, workload which can be interrupted or which is not going to take longer. So it offers around 90% of the discount as compared to on-demand pricing, but this can be interrupted by AWS. So if you want to run something which can be interrupted, then this is a great option to save the cost on EC2. Dedicated host, when you have a certain compliance requirement or you have complex licensing that you want to meet, then you can go for this option where you'll get your own physical server on the AWS cloud which you can use, but it is one of the costliest option in EC2. So now let's understand some of the key services related with the EC2. So one of them is load balancer. So load balancer itself is a different AWS offering. It's one of the that we will see in coming session. But if you have an application running on EC2 and if you want to scale your application, so load balancer is something which helps managing the load on the EC2s. So it's one of the important service for the load balancing. Then auto scaling group for managing the EC2 for high availability, like if you want to scale up or if you want to scale down, so ASG auto scaling group can then handle it automatically. You don't need to do this manually. Security group, it's like a firewall for EC2. It controls inbound and outbound port access around EC2. Instance profile, it's an IAM role for EC2. So if you want to access any other AWS service, like let's say you want to upload a file to S3, okay, then EC2 also needs an access on S3. It doesn't have access by default. So those accesses can be controlled by assigning an instance profile to EC2. Then placement group, you can place EC2 in a different placement group. For let's say cluster placement group, it is for the high throughput applications where you place the all the instances in a single AZ within a closed group, so that it offers a high network throughput as well. So partition is where you will logically group instances and place them in different partition, mostly good for distributed computing. Spread, where the instances are spread in a different hardware. So this is for if you have a critical workload running and you want to avoid the server level failures, so you place them on a different hardware itself. Key pair, we can use key pair to access the EC2. Let's say you want to access your EC2 from your laptop, so you need a key pair to connect securely. EC2 user data, again if you want to run a script during the EC2 startup, you can configure the user data that will be automatically executed when the EC2 will start, but this will be executed only once during the first startup. So that's it about the theory. Now we'll launch the EC2 through the console and we will understand all these elements as well. Okay. So I have connected to my AWS account and I'm currently under the EC2 service on the AWS. I am connected to the Mumbai AP South 1 region. You can take any region close to your location. So this is a dashboard section where you can see all the resources that you have provisioned under this particular service. So I do not have any instances running at the moment. I do not have any dedicated host. There were 3 key pairs created earlier. So all those things you can see in a dashboard. You can get a quick look of all the services which are running. Okay, so instances where you can find all your running stopped instances here. Then instance types, as I mentioned that you get different combination of instances. So here you find all the list of those instances. Launch template we'll cover when we'll talk about the auto scaling group. Spot request, you can place a spot request from here and you get the spot instances. Fine. Yeah, just a second. So you can create a request, you can get a good saving on your spot instances from here. Saving plans, so you can purchase saving plans from here. I do not have any saving plans. Similarly, reserved instance and dedicated host as well. You can allocate a request for the dedicated host. Capacity reservation is something new. You can reserve a capacity for your use cases, right? Then we have AMIs, then which are like Amazon machine images. Capacity manager, this is a new feature which is they have recently launched. So Amazon machine image, which you can use to launch your EC2 instances. You can also see the AMI catalog where you can find all the AMI which are already available. Okay, you can see my AMI is 0 because I do not have any AMI created at the moment. Volumes is some EBS volume that will be attached to the EC2 and provides a disk for storing your files and all. Then under network we have security groups, we have elastic IPs. So elastic IP is like if you want to have a static IP allocated to your EC2, then you can request for elastic IPs. Placement groups is where you can create a placement group. Then load balancing and auto scaling group. So all those things are there. So we will slow one by one, we'll cover everything. So let's now launch a test EC2 instance. Okay, so let's name it a test instance. Cool. Now we need to select an application OS image. So you get many OS combinations over here. You can have Mac OS, Ubuntu, and you can explore more options. So for this use case I will select the Amazon Linux machine, which is like Amazon Linux 2023 with kernel 6.1 AMI. Okay, so this is, as we are doing just for hands-on, this is sufficient to start with. Instance type, so if you have a free tier account you can select t2.micro, so you get a free tier eligibility with this one. So as you know that you get certain hours of EC2 usage free on a monthly basis, and this particular instance type is covered. Okay, you can also compare the instance types where you have different combination of instances, so that is not required. Key pair, so I already have few key pairs, but I create a new key pair for our use case. Okay, so let me name the key pair here. I have named it as practical cloud. This is fine, and then I'll create a key pair. Fine. So network setting, let me click on edit and then we'll see. Yeah, so VPC, we have to select a VPC. As I already have one VPC, so that is fine. You can also select a subnet. As of now it is selected as no preference. You can select an availability zone as well. You can enable, disable the auto assign public IP as well. Then a security group, you can select an existing security group or create a new one. I'll create a new one for easy understanding. So let me say test instance SG security group. I'll put a role for SSH. Yeah, so there is already a rule for SSH for port 22 from anywhere. That means anyone from the internet can connect to it, as it is a public EC2 instance that we are creating. You can also click on add security group rule and you can add other security groups. As of now it is not required, so but we can add it later. So then under the configure storage, this is where you can see the EBS storage volume. So we have 8 GB of a general purpose EBS volume. Then there are some advanced features as well, as I mentioned about the IAM instance profile. This is where you can assign a profile to IAM and is EC2, sorry, and then EC2 can access other AWS services. So as of now, I have not attached any profile, but we can do it later on to demonstrate other use cases. There are other features as well, like termination protection, detailed CloudWatch monitoring. So you can choose all those things. Okay. Similarly, for placement groups, you have to create a new placement group and then you can attach it to EC2 as well. So these are the three strategies that we discussed earlier. Fine. So there are many other things that you can like go through and understand, but basically you can see tenancy as well. You can run it on a shared hard drive, you can have a dedicated instance running, or you can launch an instance on a dedicated host as well. So these are the tenancy options you have. By default, it will launch on a shared hard drive, or rather shared physical server. So user data that we discussed, so we can write a small script, or I would say set of command that will be executed when this EC2 will be started. So let me write this one. Sorry. So I'll install the HTTP server, and we will write a dummy index.html file. Yeah, so I think we need to start and enable the HTTPD as well. So let's write it. One second, there is some slowness at my side. Yeah. So start HTTPD will start the server, enable HTTPD will enable the service, and then whenever server will be rebooted, the HTTPD process will be started automatically. So by default, so this is you can encrypt the data and keep it here, but we have not encoded the user data, that is not required. So number of instances, I'll select one. You can launch more than one instance together. So I have selected one and I clicked on launch instance. Cool. So you can see my instance is up and running. The status check is currently initializing, so it will take some time. It will try to perform a system check to ensure that there are no issues with the server. Meanwhile, we can explore some of the properties of this instance. So you can see instance ID, you can see a public IPv4 address, we can see a private IPv4 address as well. Okay, so the public IP address will be released if you restart the EC2, but IPv4 address is a static address that will be allocated to EC2. Then you have public DNS as well that you can use to access the EC2 with the DNS name. There are other things like subnet ID, which was there. So you can see, so status and alarm. So let's refresh. So you can see the system status check is green now, instance status check is also green. So you can see some metrics over as well. The system status check failed, for instance. So currently there were no failures over there, right? So if you go to monitoring, you'll find some of the basic monitoring provided by the EC2. You can see CPU, memory, network monitoring over there. But if you want to have some more monitoring, like if you want to monitor your disk space or memory, then you need to configure the CloudWatch agent, because by default EC2 does not monitor or provides the metrics for memory and disk space. Okay, you can also enable detailed monitoring, but then you have to pay a price for this one. Security, we do not have any IAM role. This is a security group where we have one port 22 inbound and everything, all port outbound. Then this is about the EBS volume. This is the network interface ID, which provides the capability for the network interaction, and this is what the public IP and private IP attached to this network interface. You can have more than one interface attached to EC2 if required. Okay, storage is where the EBS volume is, and the tags. So this is the tag which you can see on as a name as well. Great. So we launched our first EC2 instance. Next we will see how do we connect to this instance with the different approaches. Thank you.